All right. Hello everyone, and welcome to our summary of session three from the free PMP training, which we kicked off this week. So as usual, like I'm providing training, I'm providing a summary of the session. So in this session three, of course, as usual, it was almost like 3 hours. We went through 75 slides. We've had 25 in chapter questions plus the 10 test questions of chapter two. And in this session, we have finished chapter two, stakeholders. We went through section 2.1, analyzing and engaging stakeholders. And then we started chapter three, the team. We've had three sections. We went through section 3.1, setting up the team environment, section 3.2, acquiring the team, and section 3.3, we went through the different styles of leadership and the types of power. Okay. So as usual, here's a summary of the session plus the top 10 slides we picked for you. So actually, first of all, we started the session with a recap of the previous sessions, and then we started section 2.2, analyzing and engaging stakeholders. First of all, we went through the stakeholder engagement process. Okay, so where we have explained that engaging the stakeholders, first we need to identify the stakeholders, then analyzing their level of power and interest, as we have learned in the second session, and then we prioritize the stakeholders based on their level of power and interest, and we will see the later, some of the tools for prioritizing stakeholders, and then you create your engagement plan based on your stakeholders' level of power, interest, and other factors to take into consideration. Okay, and finally, you keep monitoring your stakeholders because of any possible changes in their level of power, of interest, or maybe some changes in their requirements, maybe in their communication preferences, etc. One of the most important tools we have gone through in the session is the power interest grid, which is used. It can help both, not just with analyzing with stakeholders, but also with prioritizing stakeholders and also knowing how to deal with them, how to handle them. For high interest, high power stakeholders, we need to manage closely because these are the most important stakeholders. They can be decision makers, and we need to keep them aware and updated, and also collaborate with them really closely. For stakeholders with high power and low interest, we need to keep them satisfied, provide them with the data, the information, the data, the reporting they need without boring them, so we don't push them away. The stakeholders with high interest and low power, those are people who are very interested in the project. We need to keep them informed because these people can help us, resolve any technical issues. They can act as early warning systems, and they can be of great help. For the stakeholders who have low interest in the project and they have low power, we just need to make sure they're recorded in our stakeholder register, monitor them, and provide them with the bare minimum of information they might need. We also went through other tools and techniques for analyzing stakeholders and prioritizing stakeholders, such as the Science model. We also talked about the stakeholder cube, etc. And also we said that it's very important to assess the level of the stakeholder engagement throughout the project. So we saw the stakeholder engagement assessment matrix where, we need to assess the current engagement level of the stakeholder versus the desired engagement level we would like to have with the stakeholder. In case, for example, and always, make sure that you as a project manager, you create your plan, in order to bring the stakeholder to the place or the position you'd like them to be. The stakeholders can be unaware of the project, they can be resistant to the project, they can be neutral, they can be supportive, or they can be leading. So if in case, for example, stakeholders is unaware, make sure that they become aware, and they become, if you want them to be supportive, create a plan, make them become supportive. If a stakeholder is resistant, make sure you understand why they're resistant, deal with their concerns, and bring them to support. And if a stakeholder, for example, is currently supportive and you'd like them to stay supportive, make sure you do the right things so you don't push them away. Okay, all right. Then we went through other tools for measuring the stakeholder satisfaction, such as the mood chart, the net promoter score, and we closed the chapter with the chapter summary and tips and tricks. And then we had the chapter's 10 test questions. And then we moved on to chapter 3, which was about the team. First of all, we tried to understand these different terminologies here because in the PMP exam, we really wanted to understand. In case in a question you see the term project team, that means it covers all the types of project management approaches, waterfall, agile, hybrid, etc. The term project management team, this is only in waterfall. Those are the people who help the project manager with managing the project. The term development team, that's mainly used only in agile. That's the team who will be executing the work. And usually the development team in agile is cross-functional. Cross-functional means people are, they have their own specialties, but also they have like general knowledge about the other areas that they can collaborate with the team members, and they can cover for them in case of absence, etc. Okay. Then we started section 3.1 about creating the team work environment. The project manager needs to make sure that they create the teamwork environment, provide the team with what they need, and they need to accommodate people who are located on site and people who are working remotely. And we said that in agile it started with having people on site, in order to remove any waste, like operating in the war room, and that the project manager needs to make sure that they also provide them some private space, to the team members, like in form of caves, along with the common office design. Then we started section 3.2, which was about acquiring the team. It's really important that the project manager participates in the resourcing of the project. They can, the project manager sometimes will have to participate in the acquiring process. The project manager might use some pre-assignment tools such as, interviews, technical tests, ability tests, etc. And the project manager really needs to make sure, needs to make sure if they need some I-shaped people, like people with only one specialty, or T-shaped people who have some general knowledge besides the specialty. And one of the most important parts in PMI's mindset is that the project manager constantly checks on the team's skill level and provides training and creates a training plan with the required competencies to acquire or to improve for their team members. Because in case a team member is performing poorly, or a team member that is lacking skills, the project manager definitely needs to work on supporting that team member until they succeed, providing them with training, with support, with coaching, with mentoring, or maybe assigning some experts, like mainly in-house experts. Okay. In case the project manager doesn't have the skill or the knowledge in that particular area, but working on developing the team members, upskilling them, making sure that they get the support they need until they succeed in their job. That's the right mindset PMI would like you to have. And also, we talked about when acquiring a team, we need to pay attention to the different personalities. We talked about Myers-Briggs personality types, and we've had a few questions, interesting questions about the difference in how to deal with people with different personalities. Then we talked about the halo effect, to pay attention to this, not to promote somebody to a different role just because they did a good job, in their previous role, which is totally different. We talked about welcoming people from different cultures, we talked about the cultural shock, and we talked, about not to be focused on just our own culture. I think is the best one, and people who come to join us, or people who join us in this project from different cultures, they have to be to have to adapt to our culture. So we need to avoid ethnocentrism. We also talked about different resource planning tools. We talked about the resource breakdown structure, how to plan for resources in the project, using resource calendars, some other tools such as the resource histogram, and even we talked about the RASI chart. RASI stands for responsible, accountable, consulted with, and informed. It's a type of responsibility assignment matrix. And we said that for a task, maybe more people can be responsible or can be informed of the progress, or they can be consulted with, but there is always only one person held accountable for each particular task. Okay. And this RASI chart can be used both for the team and the stakeholders, because it helps with clarifying who is supposed to do what. Okay. What's my responsibility, or what am I supposed to do for that particular task. Okay. And then we started one of the most important sections in the entire training, which is the section of leadership and power types. So I think this slide here helped a lot of people understand what's the true meaning of leadership. Leadership is not about telling people what to do. Okay, leadership is about having a vision, like casting a vision, being strategic, taking the right decisions, and also applying direct actions, effective actions. Okay, leadership is about knowing how to communicate, when to communicate, favor face-to-face communication or direct communication. Okay, leadership is about building a team, like creating unity between the team members, is about resolving conflicts among team members and stakeholders, about empowering the team members. And also leadership is about being integral, like being honest, positive use of influence, like when you positively influence others, that means you're a leader. When you know how to use your power, like not overuse your power, like Spider-Man said, with great power comes great responsibility. Leadership is also about saying thank you to your team, okay, like praising your team. Leadership is also about having some self-awareness, like, and self-management. Okay, we will go through that in emotional intelligence in the previous section, in the next sections. Okay, and also leadership is about showing empathy, trying to understand what the others are thinking and why they're doing what they're doing, etc. Okay, then we went through various leadership styles. We said that leadership is situational, so you can use different types of different styles of leadership depending on the situation, the person you're dealing with, the pressure you're having. But we said that PMI favors the most in the PMP exam the mindset of the servant leadership. Now, servant leadership is about providing the team members with the proper work environment, supporting them, removing any blocks they might face, promoting well-being, in the team, and really help the team to self-organize and to deliver the expected results. And then we saw other leadership types, such as the transactional leadership, which is about using rewards or sanctions, autocratic leader, these who decide alone, they don't trust the others. Let's say fair, that's when delegating decision making to the team. Okay, there is a mistake here actually, so let me just correct it. Okay. Democratic leaders, these who who think that decisions must be taken jointly. Transformation leaders who empower and motivate the others. Charismatic leaders who use storytelling, success stories to inspire the others. Interactional leader, and that's a combination, between transactional, transformation, charismatic. Authentic leader who focus on sharing information transparently. Okay, and we also, went through power types. We talked about, how you as a project manager you have legitimate power coming from your role as a project manager. You also have a reward power and a punishment power because you are a project manager, coercive power, called. Okay, expert power, that's when you have a lot of expertise in some area, so you enjoy that, like you are heard because you have expertise, people will trust in your opinion. And referent power, that's when you are a positive influencer, so people are loyal to you and they try to imitate you. Okay, here also we have picked the top 5 practice questions for you from this session 2, excluding the 10 test chapters. Okay, we don't go through those. So question 1, the project is delayed due to a high number of major changes requested by different stakeholders at various stages of the project. That happens a lot actually in projects. If the project continues on its current path, it will consume twice the time and budget originally planned. So, what 2 actions can the project manager take to be more cost effective? Choose 2 answers. Conduct a stakeholder analysis, reinforce team communication, update the project management plan with a new timeline, adopt an incremental approach, or leverage work between team members. Now, the situation here is we have a delayed project, a lot of number of changes from different stakeholders. Now if we continue this way, then we will really consume twice the budget and the time. So what can the project manager do? Now obviously these problems are coming because the stakeholders seems to be in disagreement. Maybe we did not really capture their needs correctly. So reinforcing team communication, that doesn't solve the problem here with the stakeholders. Updating the project master plan with a new timeline, again, that does not address the issue. issues, of the changes and of the delays, of the conflicts. Leveraging work between team members, that's not really about the team members. What we need to do here is, first, let's try to understand better our stakeholders, and also, since we have a high number of changes and it's impacting really the project, and those changes come at various stages, then we probably need to go for adaptive approach, like the incremental approach. Okay, that incremental approach, we will see that in chapter 4, that comes from agile project management. Question 2. A senior project manager works for a medical device firm which has recently undergone significant organizational changes. A key team member expresses her concerns to the project manager about a new member whom she believes lacks the technical proficiency to properly accomplish their assigned work. Since the project manager has confidence in the team member's judgment, and the senior team member's judgment, okay, what should they do about this new team member? Release the new team member. Nothing should be done since the concert team member has already been assigned. Provide the new member with training and mentoring, or keep the new team member but reassign their tasks to someone else. The situation here is we have a new team member, but we have concerns that they lack the skills. So, absolutely against PMI's mindset to release a team member, to fire a team member. Nothing to be done, that's very negative, that's very passive. We don't do that. Keep the team member, but ask somebody else to do their work, absolutely demotivating, that's against PMI's mindset. The right thing to do is definitely to provide support to the team member, deliver training to them, provide them with training, with mentoring, with coaching, with support until they succeed in their role. Okay, so answer C is the right answer, absolutely. Question 3. A project leader has recently been assigned to a new project. After checking the requirements, they decide that Kanban is the ideal agile framework to use. However, their team is unfamiliar with Kanban. Now, what should the project leader or project manager do? Refrain from using Kanban since their team is not familiar with it. Explain Kanban during the first iteration planning meeting. Assign training sessions for the team to learn about Kanban in practice, or ask the team members to learn Kanban practices using their own means. Now, we would like to use a new way of working. And just because the team doesn't know it, it doesn't mean that we will refrain from it. So we cannot refrain from using this new methodology, okay? And we don't explain the methodology during a planning session. No, planning session is for planning, the tasks. And asking the team members to learn Kanban on their own, that's like delegating or running away from the responsibility of ensuring proper training for them. So the right thing to do is actually to organize training sessions for the team, make sure they join, and make sure that it fulfills the objectives. The training fulfills the objectives, okay, the expected objectives. Question 4. A junior staff member was recently assigned to the team. The new team member tells the project manager that they're confused because they're not familiar with what is expected of them on the project. Now, what should the project manager do to assist the new team member? Advise the new team member to enroll in project management training. Instruct the new team member to review the responsible, accountable, consult, and inform matrix before asking for help. Advise the new team member to review the project charter and stakeholder engagement plan, or review the resource management plan and provide mentoring to the new team member if necessary. Now, new team member is confused about what is expected of them. Now, asking them to learn project management doesn't solve it. A is out. Instructing them to review the RASI before asking for help, that's really like not appropriate, because that's like not taking any action. PMI wants you to take effective action, to implement effective solution. Now, asking the team member to review the charter and stakeholder engagement plan, how would that, explain to them what is expected of them in the project? That doesn't solve that at all. The charter doesn't have that information. Neither the stakeholder engagement plan. What you need to do is, first of all, review the resource management plan with the team member. So let them know this is what you're assigned for. Like, this is what you're hired for. Okay, that's already mentioned in the resource management plan. Okay, you can check the RASI if you you can check different tools. Okay, like a RAM chart. Okay, resource assignment matrix. And provide mentoring to the team member if necessary. Okay, to help them do their work better. Okay, all right, so that's the right answer. So answer D is the right one. And the last question, for the summary of session 3, a project manager has been using predictive methodology for more than 10 years and is switching to an agile project. The team members have not previously worked together. After 2 sprints of work, the team has not achieved any outcome, and therefore there is a lot of pressure, to get the work done. What kind of leadership style should the project manager use at this stage? A directive style that makes decisions for the group to reach early outcomes, a leadership style that coaches people who want help and fosters greater team collaboration, a passive leadership style that allows the team to self organize until the norming stage is reached, or a democratic style that uses techniques where majority opinion prevails. Now, the project manager is switching to agile. In agile, a servant leadership is the most encouraged. So we cannot go with directive style, even if the team is having delays. Not a passive leadership style, definitely. And democratic here is not necessary. It's not about taking decisions. We need to support the team. We need to coach the team. We need to provide them, with what they need in order, to help them have better collaboration, know each other, because they have not previously worked together. Okay, and make sure we're supporting them, we're serving them. Okay, so the right answer is answer A. All right, so thank you so much for watching the summary of session 3. See you on Monday, 10th of February at 7 p.m. GMT plus 1 with session 4.